And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas. Thanks for joining me today for a quick chat and, of course, our cup of coffee. And wanted to pick up a little bit on what we were talking about last time, but time taken in a different direction. We were talking about Hurricane Ian and, of course, the devastation. And it got me thinking about people's natural response now is to reach out and want to help in a charitable and humanitarian sort of way. So it got me thinking about charity and how we do our outreach in terms of philanthropic endeavors, because right around the corner, Halloween is there, and as soon as you hit Halloween, then you're into the holiday season. Thanksgiving's around the corner, Christmas is there, and we start thinking about, giving to charity. It's this time of year where our hearts are warmed up a little bit. We want to help our fellow human beings, so we start thinking about clothing drives and food drives and toy drives and wanting to help out and do our charitable work. Of course, charity is needed all year long, but this is the time of year that we at least think about, being a little bit more charitable in our day-to-day lives. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up was because, well, now we have a little bit of time where we can sort of think ahead and make a little bit of a plan. We have a few weeks to try to make a plan for how we want to do, our charity work this year, this holiday season, so our Christmas season. And because what our sort of default position has become is a little impersonal. You can do your charitable work now virtually, right? You can go onto a website, you can go onto PayPal, you can go to GoFundMe pages, you can do it, with no person-to-person interaction. And people give to charity that way, and of course, that's great. It's not wrong to do that. It's wonderful that we can help people. But it's interesting that oftentimes our default position is to worry about helping people on the other side of the world when there's a need right in our backyard. Our own neighborhoods, towns, communities, cities have, of course, a lot of need in terms of charity. And maybe we're not taking advantage of the opportunity there because there's a huge spiritual benefit right at our fingertips, right there in our backyard, that we might be missing out on. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's the face-to-face interaction that sort of really warms your heart and gives you that good feeling. How great of a feeling do you get from clicking your mouse, clicking a button on your computer? How great of a feeling do you get from writing a check and putting it in the mail? Probably not as good as you do being somewhere and seeing the need and hearing the thank you and seeing a look of gratitude, doing it person to person, face to face. That's really of enormous spiritual benefit. It softens and warms our hearts. It makes us a little bit more loving, a little bit more compassionate, more patient. It helps us be better Christians. The works of mercy and charity are really indispensable in the Christian life. We talk a lot about fasting and prayer. We talk about coming to church. We talk about reading the Bible. We have to talk about charity and works of mercy. It's indispensable in the spiritual life. And what I would encourage you to think about for all of us, me first and foremost, is trying to make a plan to say, well, how can I find something locally in my community that speaks to me, that I, want to be a part of, and give a little bit of my resources, whether it's just my time or a little bit of, financial resources, whatever I can, but to have sort of that interaction that helps me to get off my couch, to get out of my house, to go somewhere, to do something, to see the interaction. And there's so many different ways that you can help people, so many different organizations out there, that if you look, you're going to find something that speaks to you. You might have to, it's a little trial and error. You might have to try a few things. But when we think about giving to charity locally, we sort of just think, well, you're talking about helping the homeless person that's, on the street that's asking for help. I've tried that. They yell at me, they've thrown something at me, they don't want me to buy them lunch, they want money, I'm worried that they're using it for drugs or alcohol. But that's just one little dimension of helping people, and still you can help people that way. There's all sorts of different ways that we can help people, that we can volunteer and find something that speaks to us, whether it's working with kids, working with families, working at hospitals, working at nursing homes, all sorts of different ways that we can help, and all sorts of local charitable organizations. but we need to get out there and try to give a little bit of ourselves. Maybe it's an hour a week, half an hour a week, whatever it might be, an hour a month even, anything, to say, I'm going to set a goal that I want to interact. I want a face-to-face interaction, and that's going to be of benefit. It might not be with the actual individuals that need the help. Maybe it's just at an organization. Maybe it's just doing good, working with somebody else side by side, trying to help somebody. There's also benefit in that as well. So there's all sorts of ways that we can give to charity on a local level that will help us really grow in our Christian life, in our spiritual life, and get closer to Christ each and every day. Amen.